Cross-sections of federal lawmakers have urged the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to stop further registration of political parties which they describe as briefcase parties that have no structure and funding. Senator Issa Misau and Ovioma Gege, who reacted angrily to the recent registration of 23 more political parties by INEC, bringing the total of parties to 91, call on the electoral umpire to ensure strict adherence to the guideline before registering parties. The lawmaker made the call when the INEC chairman appeared before the Senate Committee on INEC to defend the commission budget for 2019 general election.
That based on what Mr. President sent to the National Assembly, he sent supplementary 143 billion. And what we have here, presented by you, is 189 billion. So therefore, we will have an opportunity by tomorrow to sit down once again to try to see how we can reconcile and come up with one formidable budget.
They said the reason for budget increase to conduct election can be attributed to the increase in the number of political parties on the ballot paper.
And if there's a way, no. It's there in the Constitution. Like he rightly pointed out, no matter what we do, unless we amend the Constitution, of course, which is what we've done, to the extent that we're going to be doing it with respect to the Electoral Act, it's an inferior law, like the courts have indicated severally. And on that basis, they come back again, citing those constitutional provisions. But I'm saying that even without much ado, if we enforce those provisions strictly, there's a way during the verification process. I believe it's the EPM, I believe. If they do their job very, very strictly, I don't believe that some of these briefcase political parties, as my brother has described them, will pass muster. And I think you should look seriously into that, sir.
In his response, INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakub insisted that the Constitution provision are being followed by INEC in registration of parties. He therefore called on the lawmaker to consider amending the Constitution to make it more difficult for parties to be registered.
At a point in this country, citizens complain loudly that the political space must be opened up. Why should there be two political parties, one to the left, a little to the left, one a little to the right? Why should there be 5 political parties? And we liberalized the registration of political parties. And we are registering political parties now, and some citizens are saying that the condition for registration is too liberal. Go back to the provisions of the Constitution.
It will be recalled that INEC this week announced the registration of additional 23 political parties, leaving the total of number of registered political parties to 91. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana has written an open letter to the acting president, Yemi Osinbajo, asking him to stop the flagrant disobedience to court order which has characterized the current administration. In a letter titled Request to End Disobedience of Court Order by All Authority and Persons, Falana said the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, continued to promote disobedience to court orders with impunity. The activist said he was appalled by Malami's refusal to release the former National Security Advisor, Colin Sambo Dasuki, retired, and the leader of Islamic Movement of Nigeria, Sheikh Ibrahim Ezekazi, and several others despite court order. The senior advocate of Nigeria said the decision of the current administration to disobey court order was remnants of the dark military era where persons deemed enemy of the state were detained for months or years without regard for human rights. The Independent National Electoral Commission has extended the deadline for the voters' registration from August 17 to 31st, 2018. The commission noted in a press statement released in Abuja that they had decided to extend the deadline in order to give more people the opportunity to vote next year. It said between April 2017, when the continuous voter registration exercise began, and August 2018, over 12 million persons had registered. INEC said even after the registration of fresh voters stopped, it will continue to distribute PVCs until February next year. It added that the commission wishes to inform the public that the ongoing collection of PVCs will not end with the continuous voter registration exercise. Collection of PVC will continue until close to the general election.
Nigeria's annual inflation rate dropped further to 11.14% year-on-year in July 2018 for the 18th consecutive time and the lowest in over 2 years. The National Bureau of Statistics disclosed this in its Consumer Price Index report released in Abuja. Nigeria's inflation rate continued to decline since January 2017 after reaching more than 12 years high. NBS in the report said the headline index increased by 1.13% in July 2018, down by 0.11 percentage points from the 1.24% rate recorded in June 2018. In the report, food index dropped by 12.85% in July compared to 12.98 in June, representing the 10th consecutive decline in the year-on-year food inflation since September 2017. Consumer Price Index measures the average change over time in prices of goods and services consumed by people for the day-to-day living.
The national chairman of All Progressive Congress, Adam Oshiomhole, has appealed to the members of the party in the House of Representatives and the Senate to reconvene the parliament by all legal means. Oshiomhole made the appeal shortly after a meeting between the party National Working Committee and its federal lawmakers held in Abuja. He urged the party members to do everything they can lawfully to get the National Assembly reconvened so that the national issue will be deliberated upon and appropriate decision reached.
What I can tell you is that as a party, we have discussed with our leaders, our senators, on all the issues. We have laws, we have rules, all of those will be obeyed, and everything will be done according to democratic norms, democratic principles, and the rule of law. Now, the issue of time is not in law. That is the matter for the senators to decide how and when they want to have that done.
Senate Majority Leader Senator Ahmed Lawa and Senator Olugbenga Shafa then assured that members will find a way to reconvene the Senate and address the necessary issue, having made the sacrifice to stay back.
We are calling on the leadership of the National Assembly, particularly the two presiding officers, that the National Assembly reconvenes immediately so that we are able to do this in the national interest. Partisan politics is different. At the moment, what is crucial to us is to ensure that we don't sabotage the 2019 general elections, because if we don't pass the budget for INEC, INEC will be somehow impeded in its effort to organize very transparent and good election for 2019 general elections.
Items discussed are not too far-fetched. They have to do with the progress of our great party, the APC, and to consider two basic issues which are of great national interest. They are urgent in the sense that they have to do with the appropriation as it regards funding of INEC against the 2019 elections, as well as the reconvening of both houses. Issues were thrashed out. Members came up with different ideas, and there was a resolution of the House, of the entire, House, in the sense that we must approach the leadership of the Senate as it is now, so that we can reconvene as soon as possible. So we are hoping that in the next few days, more information will come out from the request as it is going to be delivered, and we are hoping that the leadership will do the needful.
President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, and Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, have said that a date has not been fixed for the reconvening of the Senate and the House of Representatives to consider the Independent National Electoral Commission 2019 election budget request forwarded by President Muhammadu Buhari on July 17, 2018. Minister of Science and Technology Ogbonnaya Onu has tasked Nigerian pharmacists to utilize Presidential Executive Order 5 to produce drugs locally for the country. Dr. Onu gave the challenge at the 16th Annual National Conference and Scientific Meeting organized by Nigerian Association of Pharmacists in Abuja. According to Dr. Onu, menace of fake drugs could be controlled if Nigeria begins to produce drugs locally. Dr. Onu further said that local production of drugs in Nigeria will create wealth, provide jobs, and reduce poverty in the country. He assured Nigerians that his ministry was working assiduously to ensure that local content production is promoted and entrenched in line with the economic recovery growth plan of the government. He also stressed the need for the pharmacists to help revise academic curriculum so as to produce entrepreneurs and producers of pharmaceutical products in line with the Presidential Executive Order 5.
The Central Bank of Nigeria this week intervened in the interbank foreign exchange market with a sum of $210 million into various segments of the market. The latest round of intervention indicates that the Apex Bank offered a sum of $100 million to dealers in the wholesale window, while those in small and medium enterprises segment received $55 million, and the Invincible segment comprising business and personal travel allowance, school tuition, medicals got $55 million. The CBN's Acting Director, Corporate Communications Department, Isaac Okorafor, who confirmed the figure, reassured the public that the bank will continue to intervene in the interbank foreign exchange market in line with its resolve to ensure liquidity in the forex market and maintain stability. Meanwhile, the Naira continued to maintain its stand against major currencies around the globe, exchanging for 360 Naira to $1 in the BDC segment of the market.